Bananas are getting abused, man.
This was designed because the Universal House of Justice, which is the International Governing Council of the Baha'i Faith, gave these directives in 2013 throughout the world to have to tap into the potential of the world of the youth, because youth have the ability to change the world.
It gave you the tools needed to. Because God wasn't there the whole time there to protect you, but He gave you the tools so that you can protect yourselves. And that will stay with you your whole life. And even you can help your children with that.
Grade 12 decided to go into the beauty pageant at her school. And so part of the beauty pageant, they ask these questions. And the questions are often about social issues, right? And the judges were blown away by her answers. And she wouldn't have been able to sit there and talk about those things if it hadn't been for her time in the junior youth program and, of course, in the Rui books. And, of course, particularly book 5.
So if we sort of boost one junior youth, it's very easy for him to become self-centered and think he's better than everyone else. But also the junior youth group as a whole also can actually have a thing where they think they are better than everyone else.
No data, no data, no data, no data.
But I think the house is also telling us, like, when we actually help our friends start activities and stuff, they won't always develop as fast as we think they should. Because sometimes we can go in and we say, you can do this better, you can do this better, and you can do this better. But actually, it's not you trying to force the other person to lead.
See.
You're welcome. Come to the moment I gotta go. You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you. I feel like I missed the part.
This is my first day here, but I find it really nice, insightful. I got to learn a lot about poetry, tapping into my inner capabilities. I think friendship, like accompanying each other, so like we are becoming, when we do service, we are like, we should be friends, and friends that doesn't only mean like laughing together, but also being that one person that encourages your other friend. And also early adolescence is about like being junior youth, like you have all these courses, constructive and destructive, and us as not only parents, adults, but junior youth, animators, and like society as a whole influence the direction in which these junior youth go. And also some stories, some friendship, yeah.
So, is this what you guys were expecting?
Not at all. I thought less people would be coming, but I was surprised yesterday when more people came.
The last part, camaraderie.
Camaraderie, being a group of comrades.
Of course, we are encouraged to use these materials informally as well, and also by having such conferences. So to have about 30 youth who have gone through this whole thing is really enlightening, because that will give them then hope in this whole disintegrating world that we are seeing today. And at the end, action is needed, because first of all, theory is good, to come together and study, but what is expected is from the youth to come and implement what they have learned in their communities, in their neighborhoods, in their streets, in their colleges and schools.
I think it would be all the concepts and everything that we've learned from each of the chapters in the program. The fact that we've all come together, and especially the experiences that people tend to put in when we're learning about a certain chapter. It'll help me remember all the things that we should do as a youth, and hopefully just take it out there to the outside world. And yeah, the fact that we have a big responsibility as a youth to take out there. It's our duty to spread the word of Baha'u'llah, to make the world a better place, to help the little youths, like the smaller ones than us, to prepare them to become citizens of the global world. Because it's almost our time to, you know, become, I don't know, senior youths. So I feel like we have a huge responsibility to make sure that the little ones are prepared to better the future, because we are the future leaders. So that's, I feel like that's...
Personally, I would remember most of like the virtues of like teaching, being what's it called, an animator. Yes, and yeah, I've learned a lot of things that I didn't take into consideration that I do now.
We're all aspiring to do in the name of Baha'u'llah, in the name of God, to strengthen and make a better society. You cannot do it alone. Do not forget this community and think, what does it take to strengthen the bonds that you're building here over time? But this community will carry you forward when the present community is no longer there. So constantly keep that in front of you. What would it?
So what I mean is like the mutual support doesn't only end at the service when we are serving the faith, but also with the problems that I have or may face in my life.
This always brings me to mind that we are not just Baha'is today, you know. There is a special power, a special potency that we are all given. They even say you can wish anything in your life and it will happen in a jiffy. Of course, you have to wish something wishful, something good, you know. And they say be careful also what you wish, because you don't know what you're going to get at the end of the day. So this story always inspired me as a youth when I was your age, that at the end of the day, we are not just alone living by ourselves. We are surrounded by all these angels. And it says any gathering like these ones, when we are together, all those angels and good souls who have left us, they are with us. So we are not alone, you know. And for me, that gives me a lot of comfort.
Do you remember Rachel? Remember we were talking about colors?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay, we are discussing about about friendship and the negative things that influences a relationship between two people, mutual friends, and how to determine which one is a better relationship and which one is not. I would love to have a friend who is caring, helpful, kind, who does not like tell me to do bad things, you know. To tell you to drink alcohol, take drugs. Okay, I want to say like I will have to stop hanging out with my friends that I hang out like usually, but just to know, not to follow what they are doing.
It's really insightful. What I really got to understand a bit more in a more comprehensive way is the role that we youth, the youth have to play in building this new civilization, and the potential that the junior youth also have, and that we the youth are the spearheads that will are like the driving force that will bring upon this new civilization as we have more energy, time, and power, I guess. It's important that we live our lives coherently, not make false choices, but to have mutual support amongst each other so that we can strengthen our own communities and others as well. I also learned a bit about marriage.
Hey!
Yeah, they give birth to children who will in the future have an impact into this new civilization we are trying to build up.
Hey! 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 Hey!
That was a long weekend, but it was so much fun. Did you have fun at the conference?
Yeah. Yeah. We really need to apply what we learned to make our lives coherent.
That's so true.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Okay, night.
Oh wait, guys, at 10 a.m. we have to meet the junior youth group. Don't forget.
Oh yeah, okay. Good
See you
night.
10 a.m. sharp.
Yes? Hi, oh hi guys.
We're going to see the junior youth at 10 a.m. We discussed.
Oh, sorry guys, I didn't tell you. I decided for me to live a coherent life, I have to do everything to perfect. So this week is only my study week. So next week is my hang out with friends, but you guys can come, we can hang out. But for service, that's the other week. Sorry, I have
pain. She may seem normal on the surface, but deep down she's slowly going insane. Her heart beats with fear every time she walks through her home door. Greeted with a slap, she collapses on the floor. A ritual of love between two of God's children turns from something spiritual and intimate to raping my human right infringement. She's scared to say anything to a single soul for fear that her life will be no more. So today's the third day of the conference, and it is going wonderfully, as you can see in the background.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm having an amazing time. From today's session, I think the thing that I'm going to take home with me is definitely the aspect of perseverance, and how, you know, it's so easy to give up on something when it's not very easy to achieve. But if you can kind of find the strength within yourself and also the strength within your fellow youth and your community to kind of build yourself up to that aspect, then it works out. So I feel like you should always keep perseverance with you in your heart. I think that's like my principal topic of today's session. You know, sometimes it's so easy to get frustrated or so easy to just give up, and you don't want to continue because you see nobody wants to hear what you have to say. But if you kind of, you know, support each other and still have that faith, you know, have that faith that, like, you know, if you really try your best with all your heart and with the love of God in your heart, then it'll actually happen, and that you will see some sort of progress. Even if it's only 2 people or 3 people, soon those 3 people will become 6 people, then they'll become 12 people, and, you know, they multiply. And I feel like that was a beautiful lesson from when we were reading about Jumbo, and how, you know, the youth as well as just community members, they didn't give up just because not a lot of people responded to the request of, you know, trying to get animators and trying to get like the older youth to come and be more active within the community. So I think that's a beautiful lesson.
The reason why we create family is for civilization, to build a world civilization. Okay, when 2 people come together, the power of 2 people is not just 1 + 1, it's 1,000. For example, let's go back to nature. When we take hydrogen. Hydrogen alone is nothing. Oxygen alone is nothing. Eh? But when you take hydrogen and oxygen and combine together, you get water. And what's the product of water? The product of water is far more useful than the two elements apart, right? So for me, when two people get together, the sum is wonderful. Like it's like water. It's like hydrogen and oxygen combined together, creating water. What can water do? Extinguishes fire. It feeds. You can bathe. You can do all thousands of things with water. Not only that, when we take copper and iron and combine together, we get brass. And brass is a much more harder material than these two elements apart. So for me, all these things, it makes me realize how the power of unity, it should not be misunderstood. It should be like it's powerful beyond, like it's beyond our comprehension.
I think obviously the one that has marriage, which is you know, how the youth can assist with having a better civilization, and also you know, the vision of how the youth that although they are coming from this neighborhood or from this school or from this university, that each of them have a role to play, and that a better world can come just by doing these activities, these core activities.
A true friendship is when two or more individuals prosper with one another. It's founded upon sincere love and fellowship, as well as service, and usually it lasts for a long time, and you usually want the best for each other when it's a true friendship.
Yeah,
Buzz.
Oh.
Mama is one of the best of me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think the important thing is that the exercise wants us to understand our physical, the physical spaces around us and where we interact with different people.
Just say the physical books at the training institute, so such as the books and all that. And then being involved in teaching groups would be fun. So we just gave two sides. So one where we'd be more focused on faith, and another one just in general how to spark up those meaningful conversations. So yeah, and more devotion.
And so, you know, it just sort of ties everything together. All of these materials are there for a particular reason, and this is an important component that helps in this aspect.
And I was just thinking, like when we serve together, it helps us, like Caroline's us, to avoid negative patterns of behavior, which is what we said, I don't know, I think the first day, yesterday, in the prayer meeting, where if we were united as youth, we actually help to shield ourselves from the silent voices that actually call us.
I've been to a few of these now, and I feel like this was the best one I've ever attended. Something I learned from today's sessions is that, gosh, I've learned a lot. I guess it has to do with mutual support, that if you want to walk on a path of service, having a group of friends that can support you on that endeavor will make it a lot easier, and you will all become more effective in your service because of it.
The conference has been very, very fruitful, I must say. Looking at the youth, their understanding, their enthusiasm, and the way they were sharing some of their innermost feelings.
I speak out my mind, and she also like give me advice. When she's in trouble, I give her advice.
She has like a lot of sisters, but she comes to me for advice. She's older than me, maybe 2 or 3 years. We help each other out and we argue like a lot. But then at the end we come to an agreement, and yeah.
He put his feelings aside and he put his issues aside. And he said, okay.
No, I meant like.
I meant him being upset. I meant him being upset. He put everything that was bothering him aside, everything that's going on in school, which I didn't know about. And he said, okay, well, I have a way. So if you want to talk, if you want to get any advice or anything, you know, then I'm here. So I think from that day, he's always been like a big brother to me. And like, yeah. And ever since then, I've always made sure that I do the same for him as he does for me. And I felt that day that this is true friendship. And I think we used to do children's classes a lot with Auntie Sandy. And yeah, we like grew up together in the Baha'i classes. So I think it's after I moved to Australia, I sort of lost that contact because like we were young, didn't really like have cell phones or that like kind of communication. So when I came back, him knowing or me knowing that he's always been there and he's always been prepared to be there, I think that's an example for true genuine friendship.
That was very
Thank you.
I have learned that it's easier to interact more with others. That there are some interesting things that you learn from others.
Form youth groups and see how they can take this material and share it with their peers. And if they are interested more to help their siblings to form a junior youth or in their neighborhood, is to go really and implement. And then tomorrow in the planning session, we're gonna look at who needs what type of assistance. Some might need more accompaniment in the field, or some might want to do book 1 and then book 5 and start a junior youth, for example, or book 1 and book 3 and start a children class, or even how to form, what are the steps in how to form a youth group, what are the criteria to come up with that, and we will be discussing all of this, and hopefully by the time they leave, a concrete plan is in place to say which junior youth, where and how. And then of course the coordinators are here and they can see how they can assist the youth so that these plans can be materialized.
The idea of having 4 days is very good.
Sorry?
The idea of having 4 days, so this Monday is very good. I don't know how we're going to do it next time, but I hope that it's also more or less 4 days because we can finish the material and then let's reflect.
And like, we really appreciate your committing your time and energy to be here and actually participating, and it was really great. And it's, you know, the purpose of this youth conference is to do what we just did, which is make results happen, leading to youth getting out there and bettering their communities. So much, everyone.